What's the secret origin of Critical Role?
The secret origin?
And how you guys all got together and started?
The quick version is I had a conversation with Liam O'Brien working on Resident Evil 6 where he loved D&D but never had played it since he was a kid, and I've been playing constantly. So I was like, hey, I'll run a game for you sometime. And eventually, many months later, he eventually agreed to it. And so we got these guys together and a bunch of our other friends who'd never played before. And we did a one-shot game. And most of them had, never experienced something like this before, and they got the bug bitten. So we started playing into a campaign for about 2 years after that. And we became really close friends through that. And then Geek and Sundry asked us if we wanted to go ahead and stream it. And we said, all right, I guess. If people will watch it, maybe. And apparently the people did. And that's the secret origin of Critical Role.
Yeah. It's not a big secret, I guess.
Yeah. Secret in quotes. It's the sarcastics. The secret origin.
He
wants to know about the blood.
To be fair, we are going to lock the door and release the spiders. 3 copies of the tape.
It's true.
I forgot that part.
Thank you. Don't know why spiders make that noise.
Because it's early.
I love it. It's a morning spider.
Yeah. Next question.
What is it about Dungeons and Dragons that you all love the most?
I love that finally, for the first time in my life, that I feel like my improv skills are being put to use outside the Renaissance Fair. No, actually, that is true. It's a lot like it's the same joy I get out of writing, except that instead of waiting 6 months to finish a piece of writing and finally feeling kind of okay about it, showing it to 10 friends, and then disappearing into the ether, there's this very instant gratification of the story progressing and of accomplishment, and it's just every time we play, I just get that same buzz of having this fabulous story be told that I get to be a part of. That's mine, anyway.
I like that it's unbridled storytelling and freedom. And you can pretty much do anything in this world that you wouldn't probably be able to do in this world. There might be massive repercussions for some of the things that you do, but it still doesn't mean that in this world you can pretty much try anything you would want to try potentially in your real life that you couldn't. And it's that communal storytelling and the improv aspect like Taliesin was talking about, with a little bit of fate mixed in with the roll of the dice. So it's it's a good cocktail of a little bit of everything.
I think anything that brings people to the table to have fun is awesome, and I think that communal aspect, like Marisha was saying, for me it's an unselfish experience. The game mechanics are set up in a way where hopefully not one person can just sort of like run the show. You have to rely on other people, and I like the unselfishness of it because I'm a very selfish person. So I like playing and having to shut up and having to rely on my teammates, and it actually makes my friendships stronger. I think so. They would probably say otherwise, but yeah.
No.
We tolerate you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
14.
Yeah.
What's the biggest memory that you guys have of your campaigns that you've played through? What's the one memory that sticks out the most for each of you?
It's hard to say one.
I can pick randomly. The tower falling down at the home game.
That was good.
The tower collapsing with us inside it was pretty solid.
Pike dying for the first time. Also the home
That
game.
was pretty intense in that campaign.
First time that everyone started to realize how real it could feel.
Yeah.
Your first tarot card reading, also in the home game, was pretty solid.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
I would say, I had many in this campaign. To get a little more esoteric, I would say running my Expedition to Castle Ravenloft campaign, like 3.5 version, which none of you were part of, unfortunately, but it was the final battle with Strahd was a very, very epic confrontation that ended up forcing the paladin who was charmed to kill off the cleric, who was my girlfriend at the time, by kicking her off into a ravine where they never recovered her body, and her spirit now haunted. And I was like, sorry. And then after killing Strahd, the rogue, who had been slowly corrupted the whole time, eventually, instead of freeing Barovia just took the throne for himself and cut out the tongue of the bard and made him his lapdog, a la Game of Thrones.
Just out of curiosity, was that Bender who did that?
No, that was Sean.
Oh, that was Sean. Okay, I was just checking.
And so he ended up being an evil Batman, new Lord of Ravenloft. And I was like, that's pretty much the best ending you could hope for in a Ravenloft campaign. So that was pretty good.
Lord of Ravenloft.
My guy threw up twice on the first night
What'd your character do?
because he's undead, and we all ate, and I was like, I asked the DM, I said, what do I do? And he's like, well, you have an option or whatever, and he's like, you can either throw it up or like whatever. I was like, all right, throw it up. And then for some stupid reason, we ate twice, and so my guy had to go to the woods and throw up, and everybody was like, oh, he's a model.
So there's always moments in the game where you want to just kill one of your teammates because they're doing something. What's a standout moment for you guys where there was that one character, one person playing that you just didn't want what they were doing?
Kind of wanted to kill Terry this past game, healing Brock up to full, and then teaming up against me. Definitely really
I was watching that happen, like,
Yeah.
Sam's
The
not going to
intent
survive
was
that.
to murder. Just
The deck is getting weird because in the normal game, I think
Deck of many things.
Laura could kill Travis in real life, depending on what happens with that deck in the game. That's how serious it's getting.
if you pull something that like ends our world, then yeah, I'm gonna be like, you dick.
Because you're gonna be like, we are God. Oh, we
Yeah,
were.
we were
Now
God.
everyone's dead.
Until this deck of cards was more powerful than we are.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like old games at worst, it's like either just like maybe a player doesn't understand what game they're in, or a DM that usually a good DM can wrangle anybody. I mean, with some exception, but like I've been very fortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I've had, from a DM standpoint, I've had players that have been just very disruptive. It's fine to drink at a party, but to drink to access to the point where it ruins the cohesive narrative element. We had a campaign that Taliesin was actually there for. The player we had for two campaigns. And I feel bad for his wife because she came along with him, but he just got way too drunk each time, so became belligerent, became disruptive, and eventually just killed off their characters and said, "Can't do this, guy. Sorry."
But like the drunken game exists is the thing. Is like you can have that game
As long as you all agree.
It was just not the game we
It's
were
not the game we were having. Yeah, like if you all agree, and once again, that's why it's important to communicate with the players what kind of game you're playing when you begin. So if you're all like, that's what we want to do, then at least you're all on the same page, and it's silly, it's ridiculous, you're having a good time when you're doing that. But we were playing a little more of a cohesive story, had narrative heavy, and that he didn't understand that.
Jack Black in Lord of the Rings is
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah.
But there is a Jack Black fantasy film that I would see, but it's not Lord of the Rings.
So it's just finding those fits.
There's a great saying that Matt says all the time that if you look around for that guy and you can't find him, you probably are that guy.
Are you that guy?
Yeah,
you're that guy.
That's why I love that saying.
That's so true.
Next question. All right, we have a question. What would you say is probably your greatest pearl for someone who is DMing for the first time?
Prepare enough to be comfortable, but don't prepare everything, because a lot of it's just going to go out the window. The players are going to catch you off guard, and if you rely too much on written, prepared material, you're not going to know what to do when you're thrown to the wind. So it's like, do enough to the point where you think you have enough things to draw from, but be ready to just make stuff up on the fly. Make sure you listen and communicate with the players what kind of game they want to play.
Understand the difference between punishment and consequence would be mine.
That's another great one.
Is don't punish characters for going off the rails, and they will go off the rails. But if there are consequences to actions, there are consequences, and make sure that they're fair and reasonable. And if they go off the rails, that might be an invitation to something more exciting. You don't know.
Yes.
That's no reason to punish a character for not doing what you wanted them to do.
Yep.
Word.
Yeah. Boom.
I'm not a DM,
I know.
so
I was gonna,
I could throw a few like favorites out there.
What's a character that you've not played yet that you really would like to play?
Oh, so many things.
Man, I want to try Artificer now, but I don't know.
Monk,
Monk.
Blood Hunter. whole bunch of personal stuff.
I know, it's always hard. We never want to like say too much because it might be the character we play next for the campaign. But yeah, I have some ideas.
Yeah, we quietly talk about it.
Quietly
occasionally.
talked. Also some monks. I love the bard class.
I usually move from character to class, but I know most people tend to go class to character. Just-
Yeah.
Wild mage sorcerer.
So what tips would you give for someone that hasn't played D&D, or like what age, if they're starting out, they're young, they're interested in something like this, they've seen Critical Role, or their parents play or their friends play, what tips would you give?
Well, Critical Role is definitely not PG by any stretch of the imagination. So, depending on what you feel you're comfortable with your children watching, that's up to you. As far as D&D goes, I mean, honestly, it's a great group team building exercise and social experience for young kids, though you do have to kind of tone the game down for it. And there are non-D&D RPGs that are much simpler and kind of designed for a younger audience too, narratively and rules-wise. That's a great introduction to just RPGs in general. But like Liam runs games for his kids as well, and has been running them since they were like 7, 8.
Patrick Rothfuss talks a lot about running games for his son as well, and he didn't want to give him a weapon. He wanted him to, because he's like 6. I don't want to give a 6-year-old a sword, even in the imaginary world.
You win by killing something else.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't want to
mentality.
keep instilling that he could just, stab his way through problems. So he just gave him a bunch of tools, and apparently one of his favorite tools to use that he uses to get out of situations all the time is a magical rope that can tie and untie by like a command.
Yeah.
And so he's like basically just kind of platforming through D&D.
Yeah, we give a problem-solving game.
Became more of a problem-solving game.
He's like, when you're 16, I'll give you an AK-47.
Right. Until then,
I think that didn't Teal cover DMing for kids on Dungeon Master Tips? I want to say we did a we have a GM tips on YouTube. There's a kids episode.
Yeah, on the Geek and Sundry YouTube site, there's a couple of there's a couple of different short videos that will give tips.
The one with Teal talks about kids.
Yeah, but it's a great exercise for kids to learn all those skills at a young age, and as a family, it's a great family experience. I've seen a lot of people that's become like their family night, their game night, and it helps formulate a stronger bond with that family unit, which I think is something as a culture we could use a little more.
We've also talked a lot about to teachers who are special education teachers or even librarians who are helping kids who have social issues or disorders, because once again, as we were kind of saying earlier, it gives these kids a platform to basically practice.
Yeah, safe space.
A safe space and to practice communication skills and problem solving without real world consequences.
There's a lot of research into the therapeutic benefits of Dungeons and Dragons right now.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
spectacular.
massively for it. It's
All
great.
right.
I'd say we've all had therapeutic benefits coming from it as well.
Oh yeah.
Us, yeah.
For years.
You work some shit out. Yeah.
So what other games outside of D&D do you guys really enjoy yourselves personally?
Oh man, I love Deadlands. It's a great setting. It's like Weird West, like imagine the Old West, but there's ghosts and demons and magic kind of just recently surging into the space. The once assassinated Abraham Lincoln's now wandering undead with a
So
it's like it's a great setting, and it uses the original game at least uses like poker chips and poker cards to actually cast spells and stuff. So it's in theme. The rules are pretty fun. That's good.
War Machine.
War Machine
It's
is
not really role playing. It's more of a tabletop.
well. They do have the Iron Kingdoms role playing game.
Yeah.
It's the same universe.
yeah.
I loved Mansions of...
That's what I was
That's
gonna say.
I
great.
spent the whole time R. Kelly trapped in the closet, but I loved that game, though.
Yeah.
That game was great.
Marisha's Ashcan Pete is legendary.
Yeah.
It's like a
Ash can. Who can Ash can?
She punched a goth to death.
yeah.
She was a hobo out of a box. Yep. It was amazing. Ash campaign, don't fear nothing.
Yeah. I really encourage people to try Mansions if you haven't played a heavy RPG, because it's basically like RPG light.
RPG adjacent.
And it has,
RPG
it has
adjacent?
an app that DMs for you.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
apps. Yeah, that
Nice.
part was cool.
Yeah, the second edition.
Way better than having Matt sit there and talk to you.
And have to
Yeah.
do everything.
Trust
Put it on a screen.
But yeah, it starts you with the idea of stats, with the idea of a movement and an action. You know, I think it kind of giving you a character, I think it's a really good game to warm someone up who has maybe only played Monopoly their whole life.
Yeah.
You know?
All right, so this is really for everyone but Matt. Have you guys thought about running a one-shot for Critical Role?
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm working on something that'll happen eventually. Immediately after the camera shut off in the last of the last one shot that Liam ran, he looked at me and like, "You're up next, man. I'm out."
Yeah. Liam's kind of put the pressure on us.
I'm gonna probably run something. I got some plans.
There's
I'm
enough
working it out.
off weeks in the year to where I feel like 3 or 4 people could.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking when this campaign ends, to give me a little bit of a buffer to really prepare for the beginning of the next campaign. It'd be kind of nice to run a few like successful one shots that you guys want to run.
And rest your brain, probably.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Just give it a little time to chill out. And
We're almost on 100 episodes, and we haven't taken that many breaks.
Take a couple weeks off every now
Around
and then.
Christmas, but
it's
kind of going pretty hard.
kind of been going pretty hard. It's cool.
Yeah. I've debated maybe like
It's hard to visit my family.
maybe revisiting Deadlands again or Call of Cthulhu.
Vampire the Masquerade would be fun. I'd love to run it. I'm thinking about a World of Darkness game, maybe. I don't know. I'm kicking around. World of Darkness is fun, man.
yeah.
And we still need to bust out Iron Kingdoms too.
Yeah.
Maybe another fun one.
Old Cyberpunk might be fun.
I'm gonna save up some money and buy a bunch of time.
Yeah.
We'll play.
The
I
exchange rate sucks right now.
If we're feeling really loopy one time, we can run like a balls to the wall, high level one shot and riffs. And just,
Us versus the SDF1. The survivors. That is the worst in-joke for D&D players. Yeah,
I know.
And actually, this one's for you, Brian.
Oh.
Are you on the internet?
I am.
Well, I don't know. Are we?
This is pre-taped. Are you guys getting this? I hope everyone got this.
What?
The socks.
Mismatched socks.
This is my favorite part because it all looks so great.
Well, it's
Kind of.
yeah, it's blue and yellow. I'm wearing X-Men
I love
colors
it.
because it's X-Men
I love
jacket.
it so
X-Men
much.
colors.
Yeah.
Why match your socks? What's the point of that?
No,
I
there's
don't understand.
so
few options is meant to do anything
Hans
interesting.
Zimmer, the famous movie composer, once said, "Life is too short to wear boring socks."
Fair. It's also his legs were too long not to wear.
Yeah, that's true.
We have time for probably 2 more questions.
Have any of you played D&D long enough that someone really thought you were into Satan when they found out you played?
Not because of D&D.
I actually wasn't introduced to D&D until I moved to Los Angeles because I grew up in Kentucky. And Kentucky. And it wasn't like even from my parents. It just becomes such a cultural thing that you just couldn't find it because it had basically been eradicated in the 70s and 80s. So people were like, "What's D&D?"
I was that kid that was like, it is like a bunch of 8-year-olds get around and they worship Satan, they sacrifice a baby.
Yeah.
It was like
time for D&D.
It was crazy. Growing up and I grew up in a very religious environment, so hearing all about it, I was like, man, people who play D&D are crazy, but do they live forever? You know? What's going on?
Time will tell, Brian.
Yeah, I know.
We look good because we don't see the sun. We just have no sun
Taliesin's
damage.
86 years old.
87 in January.
Yeah.
So,
Your first movie was Silent.
Still an actor though.
we'll actually have a talk. But yeah.
It's Technicolor mind blowing.
Nice.
What's it like when they edit?
No, we had a good culture in LA though for D&D. We grew up with a really solid gaming culture. Like we had, I feel like I was aware that there were like all these tropes about what D&D was supposed to be, but just because of the group of people that we sort of came up with, we had a lot of women in our D&D group already starting in like the 90s, and it was just sort of
Well, that was lucky for that realm in Los Angeles because it was the space where all the freaks went anyway.
Yeah.
So it was kind of everybody was allowed to do what they wanted to, and no one gave a shit. And so for my experience at least, I didn't feel that pressure, and then it was kind of learning about that cultural backlash as I began to get into the history of D&D and other games like that. And I remember when I got heavy into Magic the Gathering in middle school, and I remember I had the demonic tutor card in my deck, and the teacher was like, I was like, what? It's a card. It's like, do you understand? And they told me the history of demonic games, and I was like,
Yeah, I didn't get the Dead Alewives sketch, the Magic Missile sketch for years. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
don't, it's funny, I don't entirely get the joke, and it wasn't until later when I started traveling more. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, when I learned about
okay.
the Chick Tracks movement and everything, I was like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
I remember having those where they talked about D&D.
So in high school, half the sports teams and the cheerleaders all played D&D. We had so many nerds, and it was just not a thing that really.
What high school did you go to again?
Well, Moran, Crossroads, and we were all performing arts.
Yeah, you were performing arts school.
We were.
All of the people in my performing arts
the sports team. The sports team, to be fair, was a bit of an afterthought. I will admit. So it was like, well, I suppose maybe we better have one. Maybe a lacrosse team.
Do we have to have a mascot?
All right, well, we can't top the Satan question. That was
Well, how can you really?
exactly.
I did have a dude once say, Mr. Satan, we are totally ready to serve you. Is that beach? Yeah.
Please,
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.